Okay, students, we are discussing third lesson of D block elements. In the previous class, we discussed how D block elements form variable oxidation states and how they show magnetic properties, etc. While discussing magnetic properties, we find we found some magnetic moment of some ions using formula mu is equal to square root of n into n plus 2. Okay, for root 15 we mentioned that 3.82 Bohr magnetons, but it is 3.872 Bohr magnetons. Please correct it. And now we will discuss one more property of D block elements, that is formation of ions. For every property we are discussing the reason. Okay, why the D block elements show variable oxidation states? Because along with ns electrons, n minus 1 d electrons also participate in bonding. That is the reason. Similarly, why the D block elements show magnetic properties? That is due to the presence of unpaired electrons and due to their spin. Okay. Similarly, why D block elements form colored ions? Okay. So these form colored ions. These form colored ions due to the presence of unpaired electrons. Due to the presence of unpaired electrons and due to DD transition. This is more important. And due to DD transition. Okay. Right. What is meant by DD transition? How it takes place? In presence of ligands, the D orbitals lose their degeneracy. What is meant by degeneracy? Okay, the orbitals which are present in the same level are similar in energy. This is called degeneracy. In presence of ligands, the d orbitals lose their degeneracy. The 5 d orbitals lose their degeneracy and split into two sets, one set with lower energy and one set with higher energy. One set is called T2G orbitals. T2G orbitals, that is dxy, dyz, dzx. Okay. Similarly, another set is EG orbitals. They are dx square y square and dz square. Okay. So in presence of ligands, these d orbitals lose their degeneracy. That means the property having same energy. They lose that property and split into two sets with different energies. One set will have lesser energy than the degenerate orbitals and one set will have more energy than degenerate orbitals. Okay. Say for tetrahedral complexes, we will observe like this. For octahedral or some octahedral complexes, T2G orbitals will have more energy when compared with the EG orbitals. Okay. Anyhow, we are now discussing to understand the reason for the exhibition of colors by the D block element ions. Right. Okay. So this is this form colored ions. That means D block elements form colored ions due to the presence of unpaired electrons. In general, unpaired electrons are present in lower energy orbitals, that is T2G orbitals in this case. Okay, if they absorb some energy, they enter into EG orbitals, which are also d orbitals. These are d orbitals and these are also d orbitals. So this is called DD transition. During this DD transition, okay, these electrons present in lower energy orbitals absorb some amount of energy from white light or sunlight. From sunlight, okay, and the complementary color is emitted. That means they absorb the frequency of one colored light and emit the other color, light of other colors. In the emitted light, the predominant color will be the color of that ion. Okay, so that is the reason. This is DD transition. We know that copper sulfate CuSO4 2H2O is blue in color. Copper sulfate crystals are blue in color. Okay, when they are heated, it becomes colorless. It becomes colorless. Why it becomes colorless? Because when heated, hydrated copper sulfate converts into anhydrous copper sulfate. Anhydrous copper sulfate. Okay. So here in hydrated copper sulfate, Cu is in +2 state. That means it contains 9 electrons in D sublevel. One unpaired electron is present. In anhydrous copper sulfate also, Cu is in +2 state. Cu is in +2 state. Okay. So here also one unpaired electron is present. But this is colorless because here as it loses water, okay, this degeneracy, losing degeneracy does not take place. Okay. So in presence of water only, in presence of ligands I said, in presence of water only, these split into two sets. Then only the electron present, unpaired electron present in one set of orbitals absorb some energy. Otherwise there is no need to absorb energy. Okay. So as here there are no water molecules, this losing degeneracy is not possible. So DD transition is not possible. Though it contains unpaired electron, degeneracy is not possible. Okay. So unpaired electrons is important and DD transition is also important for showing colors by the ions. Okay. Here are some examples and number of unpaired electrons and their color. That means the color depends on the not only number of unpaired electrons and on their oxidation states also. If we take Sc+3, its electronic configuration is, outer electron configuration is 4s2 3d1. 3 electrons are lost. That means the 2 electrons present in 4s orbital and 1 electron present in 3d orbital. Both all the 3 electrons are lost. So the configuration is 3d0 and number of unpaired electrons is 0. So it is colorless. Okay. Similarly, if we observe copper, what is the electronic configuration of copper? 4s1 3d10. Cu plus 1 electron is lost. So outer configuration is 3d10. In D sublevel there are no unpaired electrons. It is colorless. Similarly, for Zn+2 ions is also 4s2 3d10 general configuration. When 2 electrons are lost, they are lost from the 4s orbital and 3d10. That means there are no unpaired electrons. So it is also colorless. Cu plus Zn+2 and Sc+3 ions are colorless because they have no unpaired electron. Cr+2, okay, 4s1 3d5. 2 electrons are removed. From 4s1, 1 electron is removed and 3d5, 1 electron is removed. We get only 3d4. These 4 electrons are unpaired electrons according to Hund's rule. Okay, so it appears blue in color. In the same way, for Cr+3, another electron is removed. Only 3 electrons are present. So it is now in violet in color. In the same way, Mn+2, its electronic configuration is 4s2 3d5. When 2 electrons are removed, it becomes 3d5. 5 unpaired electrons are present. It is pink in color. Mn+3, one more electron is removed. So it is 3d4. So 4 unpaired electrons, violet color. Fe+2, Fe atomic number 26. Its electronic configuration is 4s2 3d6. In +2 state, it loses 2 electrons in 4s and 6 electrons are present. These 6 electrons are arranged in 5d orbitals as one pair and 4 unpaired electrons. Okay, so 6 in d orbitals, 6 electrons are present. 1, according to Hund's rule, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one pair. How many unpaired electrons are present? 4. 4 unpaired electrons are present. it appears in green. Fe plus 3, one more electron is removed. That means it becomes a 3d5. It becomes a 3d5. So 5 unpaired electrons are present. It is yellow in color. In Cu plus 2, okay, 4s1 3d10 is the configuration of Cu. Plus 2 means 2 electrons are removed. From 4s 1 electron and from 3d10 another electron. So we will get 3d9. So these 9 electrons are arranged. 5 electrons like this and 6th electron, 7th electron, 8th electron and 9th electron. So one unpaired electron is present. It is blue in color. We know that CSO4 is blue in color and it has Cu plus 2 ion, right? So this is about formation of colored ions by the D block elements. Next, another property of D block elements is formation of complex ions. Formation of complex ions or complex compounds. Why D block elements form complex compounds or complex ions, right? So another property is formation of complex ions. Okay, this will be discussed detailed in the next class. Okay, what is the reason for the formation of complex ions? We have already discussed in the first year in the formation of coordinate covalent bond. In complex compounds, there will be one D block element which acts as the central metal atom or ion, and others there may be some ions or neutral molecules which act as ligands. Okay, so these ligands donate lone pairs of electrons to central metal atom, which is a D block element. That means those ligands act as electron pair donors, and the D block ion acts as the electron pair acceptor. That means between the D block ion and the ligands, a dative bond is formed. A dative bond is formed. Okay, right. So here, why these D block elements form complex ions? Because of, so these form, that means D block elements form complex ions because of their small size, because of their small size, when size is less, the attracting the lone pair of electrons, the tendency to attract the lone pair of electrons will be more. So these form complex ions because of their small size and presence of vacant d orbitals. Okay, so for the formation of a coordinate covalent bond, one atom or ion must have vacant orbitals which acts as acceptor, and another ion or molecule should contain at least one lone pair of electrons, right? So vacant d orbitals are present, and as the size is small, so attracting tendency will be the more. So due to this reason, the D block elements form complex ions. If we take examples, FeCO 5 times, iron pentacarbonyl, and FeCN6 minus 2, FeCN6 minus 2, and Cu NH3 4 times plus 2, etc. So this is called a neutral complex. This is called anionic complex because it has negative charge. This is called a positive complex ion. Okay, because it has positive charge, or cationic complex. Cationic complex, anionic complex, and a neutral complex. Here carbon monoxide is the ligand. It donates lone pair of electrons to Fe ion. Okay. Next, similarly Fe atom. Similarly here Cn minus ions are ligands. These donate lone pairs to the Fe plus 2 ion. Similarly, here NH3 is the ligand. It donates lone pair electrons to Cu plus 2 ion. Okay. Right. So this is about formation of complex ions. Okay. What are complex compounds and how they are different from double salts, etc. This will be discussed later. Next, another important property of D block elements is they act as catalysts. They act as a catalyst. The D block elements and their oxides act as catalysts because they provide large surface area. Because of their small size, they provide large surface area and they show variable valencies. That is the reason. Okay. So in heterogeneous catalysis, we take solid as the catalyst, and powdered solid the catalytic property of powdered solid will be more. When it is made into powder, then its surface area increases and active sites for adsorption also increases. So these active sites are provided and a large surface area is provided by D block elements. So because of small size, they and their oxides, D block elements and their oxides act as catalysts, acts as a catalyst because of their small size, they provide a large surface area. Okay, we might have gone through this one in the surface chemistry. They provide a large surface area and show variable valencies. When they will show variable valencies, okay, they absorb reactants or they adsorb reactants to the larger extent. Okay, and they made them to react with each other and convert into products. So they act as a catalyst. For example, if we take examples, in hydrogenation of oils, oils convert into fats. Okay, what is the catalyst we use in general? Nickel. Similarly, in addition reactions of unsaturated hydrocarbon, we use platinum or palladium also. Nickel, platinum, palladium, all these are D block elements. Similarly, in contact process, in the preparation of H2SO4, in contact process, we use vanadium pentoxide V2O5 as the catalyst. Right? In the preparation of ammonia in Haber's process, we use iron as the catalyst. Iron is a D block element. And molybdenum acts as the promoter. Molybdenum is also a D block element. Okay? Here it is element and here it is oxide of a D block element. Okay? And in some reactions, CrO3 acts as catalyst. Cr is the D block element. So the elements and their oxides act as a catalyst in many chemical reactions. This is another property of D block elements. Next, formation of alloys. Formation of alloys. What is an alloy? alloy is a homogeneous mixture of alloy is a homogeneous mixture of two or more elements or two or more metals or sometimes non-metals also. Okay, it is a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals or sometimes it contains non-metals also. Okay, right. So why d block elements form alloys? Why these d block elements form alloys? So for every property we are discussing the reason. D block elements form alloys. D block elements form alloys because of their similar and small sizes. Because of their similar and small sizes. So the difference between the sizes is also less and the size is also less. Okay, because of their similar and small sizes they form alloys. So because of their small and similar sizes they can form homogeneous mixture. They can form homogeneous mixture. They can form homogeneous mixture. Okay. So this is the reason. This is the reason. Okay. If we take examples, these alloys are divided into two types: ferrous alloys, and second one, non-ferrous alloys. Non-ferrous alloys. In ferrous alloys, one of the component must be iron. If we take examples, steels, stainless steel, chrome steel, manganese steel, nickel steel, etc. Okay, so stainless steel. In stainless steel, carbon is present. Carbon is also present, one of the component. So carbon is a non-metal. Okay, so there are certain non-metals also participate in alloys or formation of alloys. Of course, they are very less in number, right? In the same way, another example is